Oh, good.
You can message us on the Catfish Tuscaloosa app.
Got it, yeah.
Now, live, Lisa Jones and Johnnie Aycock.
Not used to the microphone too yet, y'all. Good afternoon and welcome to the Noon Show with Lisa and Johnnie. We are coming to you live and sorry about that, streaming everywhere. We have a little interference here. Maestro is maestroing and then microphones are moving and interference is happening. So ready, take two. Good afternoon and welcome to the Noon Show with Lisa and Johnnie. We are coming to you live and streaming everywhere. The Noon Show airs Monday through Friday from noon until 1 o'clock Central Time. Each day, we bring you engaging conversations, fresh perspectives, and stories that connect us all. Johnnie and I would like to invite you to join us along with today's show guests. Today, we have featured community spotlight guests, Floss the Boss's mama, Jennifer Colvin. She's coming to talk to us today about Roll to Remember, the Bunko fundraiser, and also featured show guest, Associate Pastor Wade Langer from First United Methodist Church. So, for today's conversation, pull up a chair, sit back, and relax. And now, without further ado, here's Johnnie.
I gotta behave today. I got a preacher in the crowd. So I guess I better behave today, right?
You might want to. You might get put into timeout pretty early on.
Although maybe I could be a test case for him. Maybe he needs to minister to me.
I don't know.
But either way, we're glad everybody's listening. We know that. Thank you for joining us right here on the Noon Show, home of Fun Radio. We're kind of known as the front porch of the community, and we're so glad you're with us, whether you're listening on FM 100.1 in the Tuscaloosa, West Alabama area, or you're streaming us around the state, around the nation, and literally around the world.
That's right.
Which still blows my mind.
I love it.
Thank you for being here. Beautiful Wednesday, hump day. That means the weekend has already begun. My calendar is different than everybody else's.
That's your perspective, for sure.
Well, I kind of like Mondays, but Tuesdays
I don't understand the Mondays.
I'm not real sure about the Tuesdays.
Mondays and math.
My
two of my not favorite things.
My calendar doesn't have a Tuesday on it because I go from Monday to the weekend on Wednesday. It's just an attitude.
It's an interesting calendar.
Well,
sure.
It makes for a lot of fun.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I quite
Kind of
understand
crazy,
that.
but we are so happy you're with us, and
Yes.
hope you love the show. Thank you for all your support. We get a lot of wonderful feedback from you guys out there in the audience, and Lisa and I truly do appreciate it. 'Cause
We do, that's right.
you kind of make our day when we get a chance to visit with you out in the community, and lots of things going on in our community.
Lots of things.
Yeah,
going on.
went by the river market yesterday for a little bit.
Yes.
Crowd was a little thin when we got there, but they told me they had a good crowd earlier in the day. And so everybody forgets marketplaces, it's fun.
Well, I did get my cucumbers.
Did you get cucumbers?
So that's good news.
Okay.
And I got this beautiful loaf of sourdough bread. I
Oh.
can hardly wait.
Oh, I forgot. I did pick up a couple of sourdough.
You got some treats too, didn't you? I think?
Yeah, what do you call them? Scones?
A scone. I think you got scones.
I got a cinnamon scone and a sourdough scone.
Well, I think they were all
They
sourdough based.
They were, yeah. I think they were.
Which is easier to digest, right?
But for breakfast this morning, I had a healthy breakfast of sourdough scones.
Oh, good. That's good.
Doesn't that sound like a good idea?
All right.
Yeah, but anyway, so we do have a lot of things going on this time of the year, believe it or not. I mean, last week, of course, was a crazy week with the 4th, but this week, there's things going on all the time.
Well, Johnnie, remind us who's playing it live at the Plaza on Friday.
Live at the Plaza on Friday.
Yeah.
Who
No,
is-
excuse me. That was another location. We've got Fridays Unplugged. We've got Jan.
Got the Mojo Unplugged coming
The
back.
Mojo Unplugged. Sorry, that was
Yeah.
that was before. They're going to Jake's Juke Joint.
That's
My
hard
bad.
to say. Jake's Juke Joint.
Shout out to Jake French. I don't know. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
a tongue twister.
That is the tongue twister.
But don't forget, we do have live at the
Absolutely.
Plaza
Every Friday night, starting at 6 o'clock, and
Government Plaza.
great music.
Oh yeah.
Great music, and don't forget we got the Bama Theaters movie series going on still. I think today is Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
tonight, I think,
Yeah,
7.
I think that's right. I
seven.
don't really do the scary movies. I did the Marvel ones on Fridays.
Yeah, but I think it's tonight,
Yeah,
Jaws.
that's after Live at the Placid, right.
Can you hear the boom, boom, boom?
I can. But you know, just to get that sound out of my brain, I think we'll go ahead and introduce our community spotlight guests. So in case you're just now joining us, we have Jennifer Colvin. She's come in here to talk about a fundraising initiative for the Alzheimer's Association of West Alabama. It's called Roll to Remember. Jennifer Colvin, welcome to the Noon Show studio.
Hey there, thank you.
Thanks for coming. Also known
Happy to be here.
AKA Floss the Boss's mom.
Yes, yes.
Known each
Right.
other for years through church or
Mhm.
First United Methodist. So tell us about this initiative. I always want to know whose brainchild was it, or was it like a collaboration, or where did it come from?
I work for Edward Jones, and Edward Jones is the national presenting sponsor for the Alzheimer's Association, the Walk to End Alzheimer's.
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, and I've been there for 7 years, and my dad passed away from Alzheimer's. So when I realized this was their they were the national presenting sponsor, I got really excited and knew this was the place that I needed to be. So we put on a walk every year with the Alzheimer's Association, and we were trying to think of maybe a creative way to kind of get more community involvement and just get people more excited and maybe get the awareness out a little more. I'm in a bunco group, and
There you go. Let what you know.
there you go. And I've been in that group Flossie has too, for about 4 years now. And one of the Alzheimer's girls came to the office, and we were chatting, trying to brainstorm. And I said, you know what? We had bunco last night, and it was really fun. What if we did a big bunco? And her eyes got really wide. And she got nervous, and she knew me, but she didn't really know me.
Oh,
So she
goodness.
was like,
There she
okay,
goes.
dreaming big.
That's right. She dropped the idea bomb, right?
I did.
Or you did, yeah.
Yes, I did. And I got with my financial advisor, who I work for, Brett Laney, and pitched the idea to him. And we talked to the other financial advisors here in Tuscaloosa, and they pitch in money and host it. So they pay for the venue, the drink ticket, and the food, and then the game.
Oh, wow.
So when someone pays $50 for their admission ticket to play, all of that $50 goes straight to the Alzheimer's Association. And of course that helps with research and care and finding, of course, the ultimate cure.
Yeah, hopefully a cure, and also we had the Alzheimer's Association in here not long ago talking about maybe a vaccine. Like maybe that's in the works somewhere.
Yes, I think Cuba's gangbusters right now on what they're doing. So hopefully we'll learn from
So now
them.
Johnnie is interested. I know he has some questions about the actual bunco game, so I'm going to let him ask that.
All right, come on, Johnny.
Yeah, to be honest, I'd heard the term bunco, but I didn't have a clue. what it was. I thought it was a card game, you know, like.
It takes a
hearts or
lot of
something.
skill, and you really have to practice.
Oh, do you?
Yes, you have
So
to.
I don't need to go up against you for 4 years.
Well, I don't
of
know. I'm
experience.
pretty good.
4 years of experience, I would expect
So
that.
you have 3 dice in your hands, and you have to
Okay.
roll it just right
Oh.
to get 3 of the same number. If you're
Oh.
we start with 1, so you've got to roll 3 ones, or
So it's
just
a dice
one.
game.
Yes, and you have to hold your mouth just right and roll just right in order to get
So
that
there's
number.
really special techniques going
Oh,
on.
yes,
Yeah, right,
yes.
right.
I think
Flossie and I
someone's
practiced.
pulling my leg.
I can see this coming. I've known Jennifer for a while, so I saw
I
it.
appreciate it, but I did find out it was a dice game, but I understand that at the bunco event, we can be taught if I've never played.
Oh, sure. And that was the beauty. Last year was the first year we did this.
Yeah,
And,
seems to be popular.
well, come to find out, there's like 4 or 5 groups in Tuscaloosa
Yeah.
that I didn't even realize. But what the beauty of last year's bunco, which I found to be so exciting, was the age variety. So I think
yeah.
there were as young as James was 19, 18, and then mid-90s.
Yeah.
So it's across the board.
Well, I'm older than all of them, so I'll be there.
If you're the least bit competitive, and it's just fun. I mean, you roll the dice and hope it works out, and you've always got a partner. And then, if you lose, then you go to the next table and change partners.
Yeah.
So it's just,
A lot of fun.
it is.
Yeah.
It's,
So-
you know, to sit here and just to describe it, it would probably make your head spin and
Yeah.
mine too. But if you don't know how to play, just come. We'll
Just
teach
come
you.
have fun.
Half the people, probably more than half the people last year, had no clue what was going on. They were just in for a good time, and then to support a fantastic cause.
Well, that's where I was going with
Yeah.
it. Lisa and I have gotten to be, we try to be really active, strong advocates for the Alzheimer's
Mhm. Oh
group.
yeah.
Any of the resources in town, we're glad to see there's so many resources. Hopefully, they're connecting with each other, and, because, now I won't go into the whole show. I had a good friend that lost his wife to Alzheimer's not too long ago, and I watched them struggle with, they didn't really know what to do or where to turn,
Oh, yeah.
and made a couple of errors, and it just broke my heart watching. And but then out of that, Lisa and I have found there are a lot of resources. It's just
There
a matter
are.
of creating awareness,
I'm glad you
which
brought that up.
which you guys do.
Mhm.
You do
So
that
the
well.
Alzheimer's Association is mainly research. And so a lot of people may be at home thinking, well, what about caring days? They do a great job too. And they do. But they're a little different from us because they handle the day-to-day survival, help your,
Help the caregivers.
Yeah,
right?
there's
yes,
just-
help the caregivers as much as you can. Where
Right.
we're more, Alzheimer's Association is
That's
more
right.
research. So it's not you're choosing one or the other, it's two different things.
Well, there's
different ways to support the cause. But
Because
in
we love Caring Days. Caring Days was a lifesaver for our family in particular, but they're just fantastic.
Okay, so I don't think it quite told everyone like what day, where, and all of
Oh,
that.
yeah,
let's
sure.
let's do that.
So the Bunko fundraiser is actually Tuesday. It starts, doors open at 5:15, and we start playing at 6. And you want to get there about 5:15 because you want to eat and get your drink and fellowship. It's really hard to roll dice and eat at the same time. So we'll be able to, we start playing at
and
6.
it's at the sanctuary.
It's at the sanctuary on 25th.
Oh,
So-
great
so
location.
How do we get our tickets, Jennifer, and how much do they cost?
So there is a Roll to Remember Facebook page, and they're $50, and all of that $50 goes straight to the Alzheimer's Association. And if you have, there's on the flyer, there's my phone number. If you have trouble signing up or whatever, that
Yeah, 205-242-5969. So Jennifer, so even if you're at the door and you haven't gotten a ticket, just go to that Facebook page.
right.
And what was the Facebook page
Roll
again?
to Remember.
Roll to Remember.
Mhm.
That's easy to
And
remember. Yeah.
another thing I wanted to mention about Edward Jones was they have, or we started partnering since 2016, and we have so far raised more than 58.6 million
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my
Alzheimer's
gosh.
care, support, and research. That's just mind blowing.
Wow.
And it's
sure
not
is.
a temporary thing. It's not like, oh, that's great, move on to the next topic. We have pledged to continue this until at least 2030.
That's super.
So that's exciting.
Jennifer, it's great to see you.
Yeah, I'm
meet
glad to
you.
be here. Thank you.
Just to clarify, can you buy your ticket at the door?
We believe it's going to sell out. There's only going to be
Okay.
120 tickets,
Okay,
so I
so-
would
Oh.
encourage you to go ahead
Good
and
point.
get your tickets now.
Good point.
You might get lucky and it be there.
Well, we
but I
experienced
would-
that with a fundraiser Lisa and I were involved with, and
The sanctuary's awesome.
yes,
It's
sell,
limited
get those
space.
tickets now, folks.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you so much for coming to
Yeah,
see us
happy
today,
to.
Jennifer. I hope you'll hang out with us through the end of the episode.
Oh,
We get
sure.
a picture after the show.
Oh, great.
But you know, Jennifer, like, you know, we're talking about Alzheimer's, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's not a cure, and but officially, you do things that you can do things yourself to kind of slow down the progression. For example, exercise or exercising your brain, for
Mhm.
example. And to that point, you know, Johnnie, you know, something that I've come to believe, something that I've actually come to believe.
What's that?
Well, you know, curiosity never graduates, okay? You can earn a degree, build a career, or even retire, but the people who keep asking questions are the people who keep moving the world forward. You know, they never stop learning, which is good for your brain, right, Jennifer?
Yes.
Because they never stop wondering.
Well, you know, that's right. And I've noticed that about all of the great researchers that we've been meeting from the University of Alabama. What an opportunity to learn from those guys.
Precisely, you know, it really is, and you know, they're constantly exploring, testing ideas, learning from every single result, and sharing discoveries that improve our quality of life. Their work influences medicine, Jennifer, research, we were talking earlier, education, business, technology, and so many other parts of our daily lives.
Yeah, here at the Noon Show, we're very proud to introduce you to the remarkable research going on, the researchers themselves, the faculty, the students from the wonderful Bearfield College of Arts and Sciences right here at the University of Alabama. Roll Tide.
Exactly. So discover more about their work at artsandsciences.ua.edu. And as always, roll tide and roll research.
That's right, folks.
And before we go to break, I've made an observation about you, Johnny Rocket.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so no, for real, look. Now,
Here we go again.
You don't make snap decisions, right?
Well, I try not
Well,
to.
now why is that?
Well, because the best decisions, quite frankly, have to stand the test of time.
Well, it's actually true for friendships.
Well, sure, absolutely.
Well, in business relationships.
Oh, without question.
Well, and true for, I don't know, say choosing a bank.
Well, you're messing with your money. More than anything, you need a good bank. And
Exactly.
that's why Bryant Bank has been my bank for over 21 years.
There you go. So sometimes the best recommendation is simply the one that has lasted.
I couldn't have said it better.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it, Johnny Rocket. You can visit Bryant Bank at any one of their beautiful locations, North River, Northport, and beautiful downtown T-Town, or online at bryantbank.com.
And don't forget, they're an equal housing lender too, and a member of
FDIC.
So go see our friends at Bryant Bank today.
All right, guys, you're going to want to stay tuned. We're going to get all the tea from the brand new associate pastor of First United Methodist Church right here in Tuscaloosa. You've been listening to The Noon Show on FM 100.1. Don't go away. We will be right back.
And welcome back to the Noon Show right here on FM 100.1, home of Fun Radio. And we're so glad you're with us today. Going to have a great program today. And glad you're with us, no matter where you are.
Yeah, no doubt. So guys, in case you're just now joining us, today we have in the Noon Show studio, Reverend Dr. Wade Langer. He is the associate pastor at First United Methodist Church. And I would keep saying pastor of the bridge. You're going to have to coach me on getting used to the new kind of role. But for years, Dr. Langer has invested in the lives of students, young adults, and families throughout Tuscaloosa. So today, I think we're going to talk some about his journey, his new role, and also the conversations that matter most in our community. Welcome, Dr. Langer, to the Noon Show studio.
Thank you, Lisa and Johnny. I appreciate the opportunity. This is really cool.
So around church, I think we just call you Wade. Is that okay?
Please just call me Wade.
Yeah.
If I'm grading you, you can call me Dr. Langer. So that's for my students in class.
Okay, I got you. So tell us about what you did before. I want to know more about that. What does student ministry actually look like? You're in the trenches there.
Sure. So I moved to Tuscaloosa in 2011 to start a church, and I got so many college students that they sent me over to do campus ministry at the University of Alabama with the Bama Wesley Foundation. Campus ministry is, I always say, there's no 2 days that are the same, because you got a student breakup one day, a student getting a new job offer the next day, you've got the greatest highs and the lowest lows, weddings and tragedies all in the span of about a week. So it is high octane ministry for sure, at the most pivotal point in some people's lives.
And I was thinking, boy, if you could turn that into reality TV, you'd probably get really high ratings just because of the highs and the lows and everything, right? I mean, it sounds like it's just jam-packed with drama.
People,
one way or another, right?
Camera crews would have loved to have followed me around these last 15 years. I mean, the stories, the ratings have been out of this world.
So you did that for such a long time. So let's talk a little bit about what you're doing now. You're transitioning into a new role. First of all, would you give us some a good overview of what your new role actually is at First United Methodist Church, and then also I want to know from you, what's one moment from your very first Sunday that confirmed this is exactly where God wants me to be?
Wow. No, it's funny. The role is changing. The position is shifted from me, but really my core values and everything are the exact same. It's all about developing people and helping them connect with God in deep and meaningful ways that are going to make them, there's a phrase that some of my friends and I use, that being a Christian makes you, it makes your life better and better at life. Both of those things together. And that's really the goal, that people kind of uncover and untap those God-given aspects within them to truly live. And so I've done that with students. I'm excited to be able to do that with the entire congregation. My first Sunday was serendipitously the day after the 4th of July. And so everybody was up late, there were fireworks the night before and all that kind of stuff, but still there was a real kind of magic in the air on Sunday morning, because people were really excited. What I can say about First United Methodist is that the people are expectant. They're excited about what the future holds. And I think that that's what confirmed for me that this is the right fit right now. Because I've worked with 18 to 22-year-olds that are dreaming about the rest of their lives. The people at First United Methodist are dreaming about what their church can be.
I've heard that personal testimonial just a few days ago from Jennifer Coleman.
Really?
I saw her in the parking lot at TJ Maxx.
Yeah.
That really, right, Jennifer?
I know,
She was talking about it. She said, I'm excited for the future of First United Methodist Church. I mean,
pressure.
really.
Yes.
It was really, in the parking lot at TJ Maxx, like, no kidding, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Wade, and I want to go back a little bit, because you mentioned your work with students. You know, and even though you're transitioning to a new role, you're still going to be working with students.
Yes.
Because this community, 42,000 students at the university, another 8,000 at Shelton and Stillman, and my church is big into university student ministry. I guess my point is that we have a community of churches that understand, I hope they understand, our role in reaching the student population, whether it's pre-K through 12 or whether it's whatever it is. Because those students, I sense there's such a hunger in our student population to know God and to find their ways. And so in your role, how do you think, not only First Methodist, but other churches, what is our role as adults? Maybe give us a little guidance to our audience on how can we play a role in the lives of these students through our churches?
I learned early on in my time in Tuscaloosa that college students are not the next hope for your church. Meaning they are not going to be your lifelong church members. They are here for 4 years, maybe 8, to their parents' dismay sometimes. But really, for a lot of these students, the way that I think about them is that they have been entrusted to us in this community by God, and for the time that we have together, how are we offering value and blessing to their lives so that they can lead lives of meaning and value in the next place that they go. For me, I don't know if you knew this, I'm also a part-time faculty member over in the Honors College. And so I work primarily with freshmen. I teach a series of freshman experience classes. And what I can tell you is that students come to this town a little unsure of themselves, unsure of what to expect. And this is a way that all adults in this community, and certainly in our churches, can gather around and support these young people. They need a sense of belonging, and those of us that have been here for years and years, we can offer that. So that's one way we can add value.
Yeah, and this is probably not a fair question.
Maybe.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I have sensed, and I've just got my own church as an experience reference point, but I've also seen some things in the community. And I mean this with all sincerity. There seems to be a spirit moving among our students. I sense excitement about living the right kind of life. We often down our students, and they don't get a good, sometimes they don't get a good image about our students. We got fantastic young people in this community. I sense a spirit moving among them. From your perspective, do you sense a movement perhaps among our students? They seem to be hungry.
There's a curiosity among students that I think is unique, especially in the post-COVID world. Students are asking questions. You ever had a toddler that was always asking you why?
Yeah, of course.
That's kind of the way that some students are right now. Well, why does it have to be like that? Why is it like that? What's the history behind that? Does it have to be that way in the future? And those kinds of questions are asking. They're asking of the world around them. They're also asking internally. What do I believe? Why do I believe this? They're doing something really interesting, and in one of my classes at the university, we kind of talk about this. They are systematically deconstructing a lot of their values, but then, and this doesn't get enough press, they are reconstructing values stronger than ever. So I'm seeing students that are building a stronger faith after they really dismantle and reconstruct it. It's a beautiful sort of thing, but what I'm finding is there is a stronger faith emerging in young people. There's a stronger curiosity, and I think that there's going to be a stronger impetus for mission and impact in the world in the years to come.
Oh, that's good news. That sounds really encouraging.
Oh, I agree with that, but we do need to go to break. So guys, you're going to want to stay with us. Coming up, we'll be talking to Wade Langer more about reaching this next generation and why community matters more than ever. Y'all going to stay with us. You've been listening to The Noon Show on FM 100.1. Don't go away. We will be right back.
And welcome back to the noon show.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking over your shoulder to see what you're pulling out on me here. Let's
Just
see
notes.
what's going on.
Just notes.
Isn't this a good program? I'm enjoying today.
Yeah, it is good. You
Well,
know.
it's fun to talk to.
Yeah, I was thinking about something. You know, yesterday went to a very special business here in town and was getting some help and coaching of my own for a very special gift. But you know, they're new gifts, but then there are gifts that there are things that have been in the family for a long time. So you know, have you ever noticed that the most treasured jewelry in a family usually isn't the newest piece? Incidentally.
Yeah, it's usually one with some history to it.
That's right. Like I'm holding up to the camera my grandmother's ring that Hudson Pool had sized for me. You know, I had this giant finger compared to my grandma, but you know, I'm so pleased that I found Hudson Pool because I didn't trust anybody else to do anything with it. You know, because it's family keepsake. I enjoyed watching her wear it for years, and you know, the grandmother's ring. My grandma's, you know, it witnessed Sunday dinners, family photographs, ordinary days. It somehow became precious memories, and it isn't valuable simply because it's beautiful. It's valuable because of the life it represents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're passing history along to me. Is that what
I'll
you're
get
doing?
you back. I'll get you back for that one later. Just so you know. Okay, you're passing along a story, Johnny, a legacy, a reminder that love can last for generations.
Of course, but you know, that's something money can't buy.
Exactly. That's really the point I'm trying to make. And you know, guys, Hudson Pool Fine Jewelers, they help families choose pieces worthy of becoming tomorrow's heirlooms. And you can visit Hudson Pool at 1111 Greensboro Avenue or from anywhere at hudsonpool.com.
Yeah, 40 years in business, the best of the best, and I tell you what, if you go to Hudson Pool, you'll be celebrating life's most meaningful moments, one story at a time.
That is the truth. So anyway, shout out to John Poole. I think he's going to call me today and let me know there's another gift question that I had. He's going to answer for me. So anyway, bless his heart.
Oh, they do a good job.
I know. So we've got the next question already queued up for Wade. So Wade, you've spent years investing in college students and young adults. What is one thing this generation understands better than older generations often give them credit for?
You know, they are, like I said, curious, and they are eager to understand how we got to where we are. And sometimes I think that because they are asking those questions, they do understand better how we got here than I do, than maybe older generations do. And because of that, they're able to pick apart and see different solutions that I wouldn't have known. Like, well, why did that happen? And what if we could kind of rearrange and fix some of those things? I've noticed this because, like, so many of my students over the last 15 years, they've gone on to make incredible advances in not only in their careers but in their fields. And I think that kind of new inspiration is what's really been cool
Sounds
to
like
me.
this generation is more academic than maybe my generation.
Well,
Because
I mean,
they're asking questions. That's what the academics do. They ask questions. I'm not trying to be rude to my generation. I'm saying that we're not, but they have that freedom. Somehow, maybe their parents, maybe we, have given them that freedom, right, to explore that. What do you think about that?
I think that there is a shift going on, that we are moving from a place of certainty to curiosity. And I know I keep using that word, I'm using it pretty intentionally. But I think that some of the best movements have always come from curiosity rather than certainty. A lot of times I'm trying to maintain my status quo because it's the things that I'm familiar with and I'm comfortable with. But young people don't know what to be comfortable with and uncomfortable with, and that kind of naivete is what really propels us forward. Now, that's what I love about them.
Well, to make your point also even stronger, and I think you're using the right term. I mean, nothing really happens without curiosity.
Yeah.
If you think about it, and this generation is in a total different place than the rest of us. I mean, this is, quote, the knowledge age. I guess they kind of tagged it with that. But they do seem to ask, and they ask different questions.
Yeah, well, what's interesting, Johnny, is that, like, anytime you ask a question, you are kind of confronting the status quo. There's an inherent conflict in asking a question. And it's not just why do we do it that way. My dissertation was on how can we use video games in education and in church world. And you would not believe the dissertation, like, committee that I had. They were like, you're saying we've been doing it wrong? I was like, no. I'm just saying there's some new options and opportunities. But there's an immediate threat and overcoming that threat.
I think you're right.
It's kind of the task.
And to the point of, and I don't think it's a negative thing to say that they're challenging the status quo. I think that's actually a positive
Well, it's a
thing.
great
'Cause
thing.
There's
Yeah.
always better ways to do things, better ways to
Sure.
make things happen. And again, based on the researchers we've gotten to know, until you ask the question why, a lot of things don't happen.
That's it.
That's true, but I think it says something about our generation too, Wade and Johnny, because perhaps we are more open to hearing and receiving and processing the questions, right? What do you think?
I think that there is something to that. I think that the advent of social media and online connectivity, it allows us to see people and experiences that we've never had before. And so it makes us rethink some things. Proximity always produces empathy. And so the internet has bridged those gaps of distance across the world and experience.
Yeah. Let's kind of switch tracks a little
Sure.
bit. 'Cause,
Felt like I just had a lecture.
let's shift. This is a more of a fun question.
I'm excited about this question,
This is
y'all.
more of a fun question. Because I've always looked at coaches,
Mhm.
pastors, kind of the same.
Oh,
They're very similar. if you
my
think
brother's
about
a high school football coach. He would love to hear that.
Because, well, in the role I had, I often used my particular position. I related to a pastor because he had kind of the same issues I did. You got a bunch of folks you got to work for and with, and a lot of volunteers, and a board or deacon board or an elder board or something. So, but people often look at a pastor and they want, what do you really do? Do you just preach on Sunday? So, what is the biggest misconception about a pastor? Kind of tell us, what does your day look like?
Man, what is my day? Well, I am on day 7 right now, so I don't know if I've had a normal day yet. There's still a bunch of boxes in my office and stuff. But I think that for me, I used to get that all the time. You only work 1 hour a week on Sundays and that sort of thing. But the reality is that the work of a pastor is kind of 24/7 in a lot of ways. You're always working with people. You're always talking to people, and because you care so deeply, you want to be invested in those people. You want to be invested in bunco. I'd also just learned that it was a dice game and not a card game, for example.
And not just a hen party, but it can be.
Exactly, right. So, I mean, you want to be invested in people. So, every day of the week is going to be something different. I think that the thing that sets what I do apart as far as pastors versus another vocation is that there's an intentionality of I'm always curious to see where God is at work with someone else. I'm always assuming that God is already moving in someone's life before I show up on the scene. And so it's, again, that curiosity of like, well, what's God doing with this person? And how can I just get excited and cheerlead alongside God and the Holy Spirit with that person? So
I've never heard it put quite the way. A cheerleader for the Holy Spirit.
yeah,
Goodness knows we need a few more of those. But
it's all of us, right? We need,
I happen to believe biblically, as a pastor, you're set aside for a very, very special calling. And but aren't we all kind of set aside for our own particular calling? It's looking for that purpose, knowing God's will, I think is one of the biggest, most important, and toughest questions sometimes to answer. And you working with students, how do you approach that? I'm kind of shifting gears a little bit here, I guess. But I've been raised as a Christian. I am a Christian. But we still ask that question, what is the will of God for my life? How do you go about answering that?
well, first of all, that's above my pay grade. I'm never going to tell somebody, hey, this is the will of God for your life. But what I am going to do is kind of point at some of the synchronicity and commonalities. This is the way that God has worked in your life up to this point. Let's dream about how God may continue that story in you. And so I'm a big advocate for God does not shift the plot a lot of times. Like sometimes the plot lines sort of change, but there's a theme and a story that God is telling through your life. And when we kind of zoom out, it begins to make sense. Hindsight is 20/20, even in the kingdom of God. And it's like, okay, I didn't know that was a thing for my good and for God's will and kingdom then, but now I do. And so in some ways, that's what I want to try to help people do. But I think that's everybody's job, you know? And I think that instead of being a proclaimer of what this is God, that certainty, it's coming alongside people, even for those that aren't pastors, for those that are our fellow co-workers or our employees or students. We come alongside them with that same air of curiosity. It's taking up the water bin and the towel and being that servant leader alongside Jesus when you realize, hey, I have a space of influence, rather than pointing finger and stuff. That's what I would encourage people to do.
So you've talked to lots of people, probably at this point, lots of the younger generation during some of the really hardest moments of their lives, because a lot of times, quite frankly, that's why they're probably seeking you out, right? Yeah. They just need someone to talk to. So what's that actually taught you about what people in general are actually looking for?
I think people are looking for some way to kind of hold on to. You know, John 16:33 says that in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I've overcome the world. Suffering is inevitable. Every philosophy, ideology, and religion in the world has the problem of evil and the problem of suffering. Something that I hold dearly to, for me, is from a theologian named Frederick Buechner. And he says that in the cross and the resurrection of Jesus, we remember that the worst thing is never the last thing, that there's always hope. And that's really what I try to do. I'm not going to be able to take away the pain or the suffering, but what I can always tell somebody is, I know that the worst thing isn't the last thing, so let's figure out what the next thing is, and it's going to lead us to the right thing.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is not the last thing.
Yes.
I've never really heard it articulated that way. Thank you so much for bringing that to us. And also, you know, because I've heard from therapists, you know, lay therapists, you know, if you could just shift your mind to positive things, that's really to your point as well. But Wade, we are up against a break, and earlier you had mentioned that in your dissertation work, your doctoral work, you explored using the video game Final Fantasy. What is it? What is XP?
15.
To
Roman
teach
numerals,
biblical history.
Yeah.
We're going to want to know more. What in the world? You know, what was that? How did the idea come about? What did it actually teach you about reaching people in unexpected ways? We will reveal the answer to that question and many more when we come back. You've been listening to the Noon Show on FM 100.1. Don't go away. We will be here right back.
And welcome back. We're having a little side.
Who's going to talk first? Mr. Sidebar over there.
Well,
Welcome back to the Noon Show, home of fun radio.
I was having a little side conversation with Wade there for a minute. We were doing a little spiritual. I get a little spiritual counseling over here.
Getting some coaching
And
over there.
Lord knows I could use it.
So he's talking to you about, you know, like saying things to your co-host, you know, in the middle of a, you know, rivalry, and maybe.
I hate to disappoint you, but that's not what we were
Probably not.
talking about.
Probably not.
You know, we were having a little side, which sometime, if Wade can come back sometime, we might want to do this, but we were kind of touching on it earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he kind of, I love the way he thinks, but, you know, I think anybody who's trying to live their faith,
Yeah.
and he uses the word curiosity a lot, which I think is a really quite a good
I
word
love
to be
that
using.
too.
That I think we're all curious, no matter where we are stage in life, with our faith especially.
And it's got to be okay to ask those questions and express
Well,
the curiosity.
that's really not where I'm going. It's where I'm going is we all are questioning, are we fulfilling God's purpose in our life? And that, don't we want to do that? We all want certain things, peace, we want to be fulfilled,
That's right.
and I don't know how you do that without a strong faith. I don't know how you do that, but you continue to ask that question.
I like that.
I just think it's really it's a deep conversation, but it's an absolutely essential conversation.
Yes, and one of my big takeaways from today already is the worst thing is not the last thing, and it's a way to sort of motivate you to look towards the next thing, which is certainly going to be good, we would think, right? We want to have faith that that's the way it's going to go for sure. But I really want to get more information on your doctoral work. So this sounds really interesting. So you actually use the video game Final Fantasy 15 to teach biblical history. So how did that idea come about, and what did it teach you about reaching people in unexpected ways?
Yeah, so I've been a gamer. I knew Mario before I knew Jesus. Which is pretty good to say, but
That's a new bumper sticker.
I was in my doctoral work, and a new video game came out. I'd been a Final Fantasy fan for years. So Final Fantasy, for those that don't know, it's a fantasy adventure game, role-playing game, not unsimilar to a lot of the tabletop games that a lot of people play. But anyway, the 15th version of that came out, and as I was playing it, I'm like neck deep in all of my research as far as doctoral biblical history work. And I've got a controller in my hand, I'm playing through this game, and there are story beats in this game, cutscenes, where I was like, I think I know this story. And it was an analog for, in my mind, for David's rise to kingship, Saul's jealousy, all the way leading through ancient Near Eastern kingship up to Messianic theology. So I literally got to one point where I had a controller in my hand and a Bible in the other, and I'd play a little bit and I would cross-reference. And I was like, I think I can turn this into something. I turned it into a small group. Then the University of Alabama asked me, could you turn something into a class? And I pitched this idea. They said, that's weird enough, we'd love it. And so they let me teach it,
too, yeah.
turned into a dissertation, and then that was it from there. And now one of the fun things that I do as a side project, I've got a YouTube channel where I use video games to teach big life lessons. And you can access that all the time. But it's one of these things of like, if the stories that we love and resonate with us really matter, how can they turn into digital parables for us? How can they be digital mythologies that teach us about life, about belief systems, about the world around us, to help us ensure a better future for ourselves? So that's it.
So my guess is, was part of your motivation to do that is just meeting people where they are and get in a way, to get their attention in that way?
Sure. So,
to teach a lesson.
a lot of churches and even classrooms will utilize things like movies and stuff. But the thing about a video game is because you have a controller in your hand, you have agency. Now, this is really interesting. When you ask a little kid about a video game they're playing, they will never say Mario saved the princess. They'll always say, I saved the princess.
Oh.
It's really interesting. This is just a really cool clue as to what's going on in their brain processing.
The word interactive comes to mind.
It's interactive because I did this, but your brain processes it as a first-person memory. Whereas when you're watching a movie, it's a third-person memory. Captain America did this thing, but so my question was, can I channel that first-person memory of a video game, pair it with some biblical knowledge, so that when they try to recall that biblical knowledge, it's a first-person recollection? And the answer was yes.
And actually, to answer Lisa's question, you really are meeting people where they are, because this is a technology generation.
It is.
And why not use the tools that we have available
to
teach and encourage and enhance their learning process?
It is. It's the next level of parable teaching, I think.
That's an interesting way to put it. I've never thought about it quite that way, but yeah, this is, you gotta really, I love the way you think, young man. I say young man, because our students, I mean, it's a cliche to say they're their future, because they are our future, but I don't know. We've had a chance to be around a lot of young people through our show, and I don't think I've ever been more encouraged with what I'm seeing. We've got again, the largest talent pool in Alabama is right here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Yeah. But I go back to what we were talking earlier, and we talked about off mic also, that I just sense such a spirit among these. And to your point, I'm glad you shared the idea that they're curious, they're hungry, they're asking different questions, and we as adults, you might kind of minister to us a little bit on this one. We've got to be in position to minister to them,
Yep.
just as they probably are going to minister to us.
That's exactly right, and because of that, there is a wellspring of creativity, God-given creativity that we have not tapped. And that's one of the things that I'm most excited about with being at First United Methodist, being a part of the larger community in Tuscaloosa. We can do some cool things. I was in a staff meeting just yesterday where the phrase was said, we want to be the church of yes. If somebody comes to us with a really exciting, weird, off-the-wall idea, like can we use video games to teach the Bible? We want to say yes, because we don't know where God's kingdom is going to break through next. So we want to be curious about that. Because like I said, I mean, God ain't done, right? The world doesn't just advance and we just remember what he did back then. He's doing new things now, and that's what I'm excited about.
So what actually put you on the path of becoming a pastor to begin with?
I was 13 years old when I became a Christian. I went through confirmation in my local United Methodist Church, Taylor Memorial up in Birmingham, which is where I'm from.
Sure.
And listen, I had been going to church for 5 years when a red-headed freckled boy invited me in second grade to come to a sleepover ice cream thing, and I was like, church is cool, let's go. And then when I was 13, I went through confirmation classes. I go up to the very front of the church with my 2 certificates. I was baptized and confirmed all on the same day. Went home before lunch, look at the certificates, and I say, God, first prayer I'd ever prayed, God, I don't know what this means, but whatever it is, I'm in. Amen. And then I went to lunch. 6 months later, I had really taken on this whole mantra of being a Christian. I felt like I was behind. I was a straight-A student in school, so I was like, I've got to catch up to these super achieving Christians. I read 5 chapters of the Bible every morning and 5 chapters every evening. I prayed the way that they did in movies, on my knees by my bed, because that's all I knew. I was just trying to emulate what I had seen.
Yeah.
And over the course of 6 months, I was on a winter retreat. And all I can say is that there was a movement of God that was so powerful in a time of prayer, where I just knew that God had called me to teach others, to share with others. I was not sure what it would all look like, but I started this trajectory towards seminary and grad school and all that kind of stuff, and it has been quite a journey. But I knew at 14 years old that God wanted to do something vocationally with me.
Yeah. We were talking earlier a little bit about, God has a call on each one of us.
Yep.
And it's not just the pastors. We each have a role to play in his kingdom and a purpose. And I still think that's one of the most difficult questions that people have to ask. What is my purpose?
Yeah.
Am I fulfilling God's purpose for me?
One of the things that I've discovered, especially the older that I've gotten, is that I could have been a pastor, and I have been a teacher, an instructor, a campus minister. I was a chaplain at one point. I've had small businesses, all this kind of stuff. But in all of those ways, I'm trying to fulfill that calling to do God's work. I think that God gives us kind of a playground, a sandbox, and says, go and co-create. It's very similar to Genesis chapter 2. It's like, you're in the garden now. Go name the animals. Go bring order to this world. And I've given you all the tools. You also have some free agency and some free will to play in this a little bit. But the call of God to be an image bearer of his is to be a co-creator. And that which is not yet, we get to effect in some ways. And so I think that as long as you are using what God has given you for something that is going to be beneficial and bring in the kingdom, then that's a calling, whether you're a pastor or not.
Yeah, I like to think about how our paths are directed and steps are guided in that way, and especially when you have that moment when you look back and you think, wow, I wouldn't be here if this hadn't happened. It's incredible. But I would like to know, this is kind of a heavy question, so when people look back on your ministry in Tuscaloosa 20 years from now, what do you hope they'll say made Reverend Dr. Wade Langer different?
I hope that they would say, especially my students, I hope that they would say, he knew me. Like, not the things that I did or the ways that I fixed up a facility or something like that. I really hope that individuals would say, he really knew me. I had a student a few years ago who called me in the middle of the night, and I was like a little grumpy, and I was like, why? It's late, and I got up early the next morning and went and got breakfast with the guy, and I said, why of all people did you call me last night? And it was over something silly. It wasn't a dire need. That's why we waited till the morning. And I said, why did you call me? And he said, well, I wasn't sure anybody else in this town loved me.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like,
Wow.
if that could be my legacy, that people
Yeah.
knew that I cared, then that's enough.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. That is incredible. So, I just I know as a member of First United Methodist Church, so you've preached sermons at our church before, and so it seems like a seamless transition to me, and so I'm extremely pleased to see you taking this position with us, and I, like Jennifer, I'm excited for the future. So I like to say the sky's the limit, but then Johnnie and I will get into a debate about that saying. He doesn't like it, so anyway. Thank you so much for coming to join us. We're going to want to have you back.
It's going to be a fun ride.
So we'll just talk about it. I agree. Right. Yes. Let's just buckle up. So, but anyway, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Wade. And
My pleasure.
I want to tell everybody who's coming on the show tomorrow. We've got Stephen Dethridge, editor-in-chief of the Tuscaloosa Thread, coming to the Noon Show studio tomorrow. So we'll be talking
That's
about,
right.
yeah.
We're
all
going to be
kinds of
talking
things.
about all kind of current issues. We may even stir up a little something. I talked to Stephen earlier. We may stir some things up just for the.
Should I be worried?
Probably everybody should be. We're going to have fun.
Oh my God. No, I'm kidding. No, it's always a lot of fun. I love to check in with Stephen Dethridge every once in a while. We're going to get all the tea from him.
Because he's going to give us the inside scoop.
I love it. But
Yeah.
look, we have run out of time. But don't forget to spay or neuter your furry friends and keep those tails wagging with up-to-date vaccinations. For Johnnie Aycock, I'm Lisa Jones, signing off for the Noon Show. But before we go, I'd like to wish everyone a splendiferous rest of their day.